Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today is still about the strike that was initially planned. The health workers under the umbrella of the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, have suspended their 12-day warning strike. The union has said that the decision was reached after they had met with the president, and on Monday, they had made actually a few demands. Some of the demands I'd like to read because before we bring in our guests. They had said that they needed the adjustment of consolidated health salary structure, that's the CONHESS, payment of peculiar allowances to health workers under the aegis of JOHESU and the AHPA, immediate and unconditional implementation of the consultant cadre circular for pharmacists in all federal health institutions.
We also talked about payment of all withheld salaries of our members in Federal Medical Center, FMC Owerri, Jos University Teaching Hospital, JUTH, Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, and outstanding April and May 2018 salaries of members in Federal Medical Center, FMC Azari. Payment of health workers exclude in the payment of new allowances.
Yes, so they also requested for immediate approval and implementation of the technical committee report on CONHESS, the adjustment by the federal government and immediate payment of the omission and shortfall in COVID-19 hazard / inducement allowance for affected health workers in the institutions.
Asking also for recognition of health workers in non-core hospital facilities in the payment of new hazard allowance and immediate and unconditional implementation of pharmacist consultant cadre.
Yes, so joining us now is the National Vice President and Acting President, Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, Mr. Ogbonna Chimela himself. Good morning, sir, Mr. Chimela.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being on the show. So we've just read the demands of JOHESU from the federal government, and you know you had a meeting with the president. Give us an idea of how that meeting went and why you were able to call off the strike.
All right, thank you very much. The meeting had a coloration of progress, especially by the intervention of Mr. President, who has shown us that he's hitting the ground running as he promised, because it's barely 1 week into office now, and he has seen the need to make sure that the health sector is not in crisis. He invited us, and he listened to us, and he has seen the need and justifications to our demands, and he promised that he is going to, together with his lieutenants, make sure that these issues are resolved amicably. And we carried the message of Mr. President, and with other engagements we had earlier on, and presented such to our members, the Executive Council. And during the course of the meeting, they also agreed that we should honor Mr. President and give a window of 21 days to enable him and his lieutenants to constructively look into these matters with the aim of addressing them positively to the gains of the members.
Right.
That was the highlight of reasons why the strike was suspended.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you expect the federal government to have done in that 21 days that you're given to enable you either forget about going on strike or going back to strike? What are some of the metrics you would see to show that the government is already working in that 21 days?
Well, there are issues that has to do with money, fund in the requests. There are some that are just letters or circulars to be released or directives to be given to assuade and get such things solved. So those ones that will not require too much bureaucratic indices, like directive, writing circulars and all that, those ones could be done within the ambient of time, while those ones that has to do with finance also will be considered constructively with the basic indices that are required, because we have some of our members also who are experienced accountants, financial munguts, that will also join in making sure that the time space will good enough to get all our demands implemented.
Right.
With the goodwill and the enthusiasm we saw in the body language of Mr. President, we don't think that 21 days will be too small for him to do the needful, and we hope that will be done.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a bit curious about, so I love that, that there's a body language that has, given you some sort of confidence in the president. But I was wondering about this immediate payment of omission of shortfall in COVID-19 hazard and inducement allowances. For me, I feel like that's such a huge thing. That you're still even asking for that is really sad to me. Do you think, were there any concrete, conversations concerning this that gives you hope?
Well, you know that the issue of COVID-19 will be traced back to 2020. What happened was that there were some members of our union who really actively participated in the COVID management. And during the course of paying the money, they were erroneously omitted.
Okay.
Some of them, too, we are not physically in the hospitals. They were at outposts, like the leprosy center, the disease and infection centers, Kaduna in Jos and all that, the laboratories in Jos and all that. They were supposed to be captured. But we discovered that something went wrong, as if the money budgeted for that COVID-19 payment was not really enough. So it was like the government used some formulas to eliminate some people so that they will be able to capture some. So that's why we are bringing all of them back now to the mainstream, that since they participated and they were very active during that period, they should not be denied.
Yes.
Their list had been compiled, and it's with the Federal Ministry of Health for onward transmission to the appropriate government agency that will handle it.
Amazing.
So, the conversation had been ongoing for a long time before this new administration, and we also know that we don't have, in 21 days, we still probably wouldn't have a minister for health. Is it possible that the lack of having a minister or having ministers would impact on your negotiations, and would you be willing to extend the strike if by the time the 21-day elapses, you've gotten a bit of indication, but the remaining things you wanted would only require having people within that ministerial portfolio being able to execute on them? Would that be able to, will you push till after ministers are appointed?
All right, well, from the body language of Mr. President, he's not going to waste any time in doing the needful, in the sense that he had already proclaimed it, that he will put all machineries in place. But if that fails, there shall never be vacuum in governance.
Yeah.
As we speak now, the permanent secretaries have been empowered because they are in that hierarchical order, in charge of the various ministries of interest, and the governance is still going. You cannot say because we don't have ministers now, we cannot engage the labor centers. Like yesterday, you saw what happened. If we had been waiting for Minister of Labor to come and intervene, do you think the stand down now by NSC and TUC would have been accomplished?
No. Right. So finally,
governance is a continuous process, and the right persons are there now, and we have them as human resource, and they are doing beautifully well, and we pray that they will continue until the ministers come. And if the ministers come, those ones are political appointees. They will be able to take the notes from where the permanent secretaries engage us up to. If these issues have not been done with before then, we are very optimistic, believing that drive is there. I will pray that it will go this way.
Mr. Ogbonna, finally, because just like Tokwe said, the conversations with JOHESU and federal government have been ongoing for years. I mean, there's always one strike or the other. For those of us Nigerians who are still trying to adjust to this new administration, the workings of what they do, how would you say the meeting you had with the president is different from what you've had in the past. When you talked about body language, the way, the countenance, maybe give us an idea of what you saw that maybe gave you that confidence that, okay, this new sheriff in town might actually take your demands more seriously than previously.
All right, from the statement of the president, even during his campaign, he made it clear that he's not going to enter into any negotiation or agreement that he will not be able to deliver or activate, and that he will not renege in any of his promises. Well, human beings are very, very fallible. It's God that is infallible. But we believe that since he has an antecedent driving the system from Lagos State to becoming Nigeria's president, we are very optimistic that he will try his best to live up to expectation. He told us during the meeting that this is a period of confidence building and trust building, that we should trust him and take him by his words. And if one is also putting his honor online, you should know what it means. And if your president, the commander-in-chief, is giving out that word like that, you should also trust. Then the past governments, when we had one engagement with a particular president, he was about leaving the president. He was contesting for re-election. He also promised that after he's re-elected, but unfortunately, he was not re-elected. But this is a sitting president that has about 4 years and more if God gives him grace. We have this belief that since he has given us his word and we also have given our commitment, he is not going to disappoint us by the special gift of God.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ogbonna, for joining us. We just wanted to get an update from JOHESU to know exactly if your demands are met, but we'll continue to wait the next 21 days and see what this administration does to meet some or all of your demands.